What's up, party people? Welcome back to another video. We're going to talk about Resto Druid in the 11.05 patch. It's good, man. It's good. It's feeling good. All right. I was very pleasantly surprised at how much better my healing has felt, and I don't know if this was. I don't know why. Actually, I'll tell you why I think it is. It's two things: Resin and Send Ward, and I think that those two things contributing to your mastery is really helping out with that healing. The little bit of purge protection is really solid. So I'm gonna go through the talents that have the new talents and what I think of each of those new talents at the moment, because I did get some valid testing on everything. And then at the end, I'm gonna give you one little gameplay commentary of a solo shuffle round. When I did my first solo shuffle of the patch, I went 6-0 and I was like, oh snap, this ain't too bad. It wasn't against a meta healer, but whatever. All right, so let's get right into it here. So on the talent side, you have your double NS. This feels phenomenal. So you get 2 charges of NS. It's still, I was worried that the nerf to NS baseline was going to make this like maybe you mandatory to take the improved one, but it doesn't seem like I do. Like the regular NS feels great still, and it's still topping. So just a quick tip with this: if you do run double NS, make sure you're not spamming the button. You will use both charges and waste one of them. Well, you won't waste it. You would just have 2 charges. So be careful with that. Make sure you're only pressing it once now. If you need to take it off the macro, well, I left it in the macro, but I just make sure I don't spam it. I hit it once, and then if I need to spam a button after that, if it's not going off, I spam my regrowth button. So it's a little bit annoying with that, but it's what it is. The short NS or the big NS is definitely up to you. If you're probably gonna have an extra point up here that you can kind of throw in. I threw it into Waking Dream myself just because I feel like it's more of a benefit right now, because I didn't seem like I needed NS that often. Like I felt like it was always up when I needed it, which was great. And yeah, so that's that. The Tranquil Mind obviously moved over. If you are playing Tree of Life, you should be playing this. If you're not playing Tree of Life, so in my 2 spec, I do not play this. But this is obviously, this was always in the game, that they just moved it. Wildwood Roots, this is one of the big ones here. Send Ward healing is okay. It's not bad, 7%, whatever in that game here. But the thing is the uptime. So you reduce the cooldown by 1/3. So now it's 20-second cooldown rather than 30. And it's up for 2 seconds longer. So all this is going to do is contribute to your mastery for a longer period of time, which is going to give you much higher throughput. And then you combine that with the new Resin talent, or passive. So when your hot gets purged, you get a resin on you and multiple stacks overlap. So the healing from this is completely garbage. Don't worry about that. The healing is garbage. But it's the thing that when you do, so like let's say you have Rejuve and Life Loom on the target, and they purge the Rejuve off. You get the stack of this for 6 seconds. If you reapply that Rejuve and then Swift Mend with it, now you have an extra hot that you never had before. So let's say you get purged once, even just once, and then you overgrowth over it. Your healing is going to be absolutely astronomically high, because you're getting a whole extra hot with all of those other hots, which obviously your mastery is multiplicative or exponentially increases. So it's going to be a really high heal, man. If I've gotten purged and then overgrowth over into a Swift Man, like top team instantly, or top the person instantly. It is so much healing to have on top of that. So and the good thing is, so if you are playing like an Evoker, playing against an Evoker that has like a mass purge like that, it's not that great, because the stacks are only still, doesn't matter how many things you get purged, it's still 1 stack. But against the other classes that are like purging here and there, or like a double shaman purge or something like that, that's where this is shining. I think Evoker still has a really good edge over Druid in terms of the purges, but this feels really good into those single purge classes. All right, going into the next talent here, we got Renewing Surge. It's kind of hard to really quantify this, man. Like up to 40%, up to 30% in PvP. Reduced, that's 4.5 seconds. So I feel like for the most part, you're getting maybe 1 to 2 seconds off of this, which I feel like is worth it, especially if you're playing, Wildstalker myself and getting those blooms. But even if you're playing Keeper of the Grove, you get that haste buff a little bit more often. And every time you press Swift Man, you also activate your tier set, which gives you a little bit more extra healing as well. So it's really hard to quantify it, but I feel like it's worth it. The one thing I'll say it probably isn't worth it against is heavy purge. So if you're ever seeing heavy purge comps, Wild Synthesis is really good to help you out with, because it is purge protection. Every time you press Tree Ant, it casts a Wild Growth that is purgeable, and that's going to contribute to your resins, as well as just be purge protection itself. So heavy purge comps, I switched it to here, but for the most part, I'm still sticking with it. Other talent, Force Flow, completely garbage. Like it's like maybe 1%, maybe 2% at a max, if you are getting lucky with like your clarity. procs and stuff like that, really just not worth your time. It's unfortunate. Like, it feels really good in PvE. I was messing around a little bit in like dungeons and stuff, and it feels really good in PvE, but it feels so bad in PvP. It's not worth your time. And then the last one, at least, is Dream Sonaris is one of the change talents. Unfortunately, still sucks. It's not enough. Like, I think it needs to be based off your dots or something. I don't know. It's just like, it still doesn't seem like it's worth your time, especially for a point down here. Maybe if it was a little higher up or something, but it's not worth your time. Even in 2s, I opted to keep my 2 spec exactly the same as it was before. I didn't take Forest Flow. Oh, actually, on that note, let me switch this before I forget. This doesn't need to be there. Up here we can take something else. I actually have an extra point. Maybe I'll take big NS in 2s because the dampening. Anyway, they actually added. I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it until like I literally started making this video. They added an extra line here, so you actually don't need to take regenerative, whatever wood, which actually isn't bad in 3s, in shuffle. It's not very useful in 2s, but yeah. All right, and then yeah, that's about it. So in terms of talent builds and whatnot, I personally did not change for the majority of my build. I mean, obviously this stuff's all the same. You can play whatever you want on this side. I know I play Maim and Kick. You don't have to play Maim and Kick. Play whatever you want. But talking about this side here, I'm playing the same build I was before. Thriving Vegetation into Reforestation into Germination. I did see quite a few people playing some different stuff. So in 3s, I was messing around with this as well. So this is another alternative if you don't feel like you need the tree proc. I feel like the tree proc's better in shuffle though. The longer games maybe it's not as impactful, but like getting that one tree proc can just win the game. But this is another alternative. You can drop tree proc and go straight down to Germination and take Budding Leaves, and you can take Forest Flow or Normacy, whatever you want. And then I also saw people dropping. So there was something like this, playing Max Regenesis, which I could see being okay, but I mean, it's no different than it was before. So they're playing like Thriving Vegetation and Genesis and just getting really fat rejuve heals. I just didn't feel like it was worth it all the time, because if you are rejuving at a high health pool, it does nothing, virtually nothing. But it's something else if you do want to try out. I think Lone Tower was playing that build if you want to check out his armory or something if you want to see that. But I was personally just sticking to this. It's what felt good to me. So yeah, Druid feels good overall, man. And I'm really excited to keep playing more. I was actually enjoying Shuffle a bit. So let me go over one round here just to show you kind of what's going on. The biggest thing, like, you have to, in terms of gameplay, you need to change if you were not doing it already, because I wasn't doing a great job with it, is really focusing on extending the send wards. Whenever you have a send ward, you got to get a swiftmend out on it, okay? Because that's just gonna really boost the healing, especially because the healing is a bit higher, and just worrying about the mastery a little bit more. So all right, so this game starts here. This is a really high damage comp versus AF BM. So tree form right off the bat, getting like the same hots up here. There's a send ward, so that's pretty cool. Like, you have 2 send wards up at the same time. Actually, this one just wasn't triggered a lot. But BM Hunter is a great example. Actually, both of these two have minor purges in there. So getting those minor purges here and there is just giving you that 1 resin stack, which is going to increase your healing pretty tremendously. But also, I do want to note, our Druid wasn't that bad before. I think people were sandbagging the crap out of it, because you can even see in some of these games, like, I have no resin, no send ward up. My healing was fine. Like, I mean, besides those 2 talents, it didn't do anything. So here, great example here, you get purged. That resin, so much healing now, because I had wild growth on there too in full hots. Whenever you get those instances where you do have resin and you're able to like overgrowth over it or just re-hot it immediately, you're gonna get an insanely high heal coming out of that. So yeah, let me see if I can actually keep an eye on some of these. Okay, so that was a 13, so that was a 2-second off. Hold on really quick. What? Just because for the, all right, so this guy is at, let me see where he's at. So he's at 50% health here. When I press the Swiftmend, it goes to a 13-second cooldown. So it's a 2 seconds shaved off the cooldown. That could be a big deal over the course of a game. 2 seconds here and there, and let's say you're oh, what the heck just happened to me? I died. All right, so let's say it's a 2-second. I think it was this game here. No, it's this one here. Third one, right? So 2 seconds off the cooldown. I only cast it 3 times, but if you get a game that's a little bit longer, this was a short game, it's only a 1.5-minute game. If you do get a longer game, you're getting 10 casts, that's 20 seconds off of the cooldowns altogether, which could give you an additional Swiftmend and a half throughout the course of a game, which could make or break the game, especially when you're trying to pair these short NSs with a Swiftmend. It's definitely could help you out. So yeah, healing feels good. That's all I really wanted to cover with that, and I wanted to show you all the talents that I've been messing with for that. So enjoy Resto Druid. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know your thoughts down below, and have a peace out.